Locked On NBA. Here we are, another episode. We're looking at the Charlotte Hornets today with Locked On Hornets host Walker Mehl. They're on fire. They just knocked off the Brooklyn Nets. All coming up. Stay tuned.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On NBA. I am your Monday host, Josh Lloyd, and we're here to talk about the Charlotte Hornets. Before I do that though, Built Bar, it is the best tasting protein bar ever. Have you had it? If you haven't, you need to get it. These taste just like candy bars: orange, strawberry, raspberry flavor, mint brownie, cookies and cream, coconut, and all the special edition flavors they throw out there. But it's not just that. They're also good for you. 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs in these Built Bars. Make sure you're getting yourself a box or multiple boxes. And when you do that, head to Built.com and use our promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, to make sure you are getting them at that 15% discount. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar ever. All right, let's bring him in now. The host of the Locked On Hornets podcast, Walker Mehl, here straight after the Hornets just knocked off the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know where we want to start here, Walker. Let's start with Miles Bridges, who is turning in an early season resume, I guess, for the most improved player. He's been awesome, and this Hornets team just, on the back of what Bridges did, just took it to the Nets.
At 32 points for Miles Bridges against the Nets, and this fresh off of his other 30-point performance that he just had on Friday against Cleveland. And Miles Bridges is a guy, October 18th, we were all kind of figuring out if Mitch Kupchak would extend that contract deal to or extend a different kind of contract extension to Miles Bridges right off the rookie scale deal that he had. And nothing got agreed to. It was only Mikal Bridges. It was only a Jaren Jackson. But Miles Bridges, one of the guys that we were all trying to figure out if that would happen. And it turns out the Hornets and Miles Bridges decided to let it play out this season. But man, I mean, he's playing extremely well to the point where maybe Mitch Kupchak, even though just a couple of games into the season, Mitch Kupchak has to be thinking, hey, if he continues to play like this, then it's going to have a lot of money coming towards him. I mean, he's been fantastic. And against the Indiana Pacers, he did a lot of little things. He got the team sparked in the third quarter to make that big-time comeback. But this time, I mean, he was one of the bigger reasons why they were able to beat the Cavs and certainly the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, look, he's been huge. I think this level of efficiency probably can't keep up for him, but he has been really leading this team. Like last year, he came off the bench behind PJ Washington, and Borrego made that change to put Bridges in as the starter, Washington off the bench, playing that backup center role behind Mason Plumlee. Yeah, one of the other guys, Mason Plumlee, is one of the players they brought in this offseason. But before we get to, I guess, the big name, one of the players they brought in this offseason was Ish Smith, who took over in the fourth quarter of that game against Brooklyn. He has been awesome. LaMelo Ball played under 30 minutes against Brooklyn because they didn't need him out there, because Ish Smith was honestly the best player on the floor for a stretch of period in that fourth quarter. How important has it been to have someone like that? Now, this is not to shade Devontae Graham, but to have this capable point guard who's playing in a very sort of similar fast-paced style as the rest of the team is doing. There hasn't really been any sort of drop-off with him out there. Not that you can expect that to continue for 82 games, but it's been a remarkable surprise, I guess.
Well, it's been the scoring output that's been the most remarkable surprise, right? I mean, it's him against Indiana going 7 of 14, and then he follows up that with a Cavs performance where he only scored 2 points. You would expect, okay, we'll get something in between. But nope, here he comes in against Brooklyn. The fourth quarter, he goes off and goes 7 of 15, even hit a three-pointer, which is not Ish's game, and he got guys involved. He even allowed Kelly Oubre to have that assist in order to, hit with like 50 seconds left to go, just added one for good measure. He's been phenomenal. And when they brought him in, I thought it was a good pickup. I thought it was nice. Didn't really think much of it. It's not something we spent a lot of time on Locked On Hornets talking about, because Ish Smith was going to come in and be the veteran point guard that could run the second unit, and he's going to be able to facilitate the offense well, play good defense, and that was about it. But man, this guy has been just great for the Charlotte Hornets team, and he really wanted to be here. Of course, he's a local guy, went to Wake Forest, actually is just 20 minutes down the road from the Spectrum Center where he's from, where he played his high school ball, and he's playing like he's just as productive as he was back in the days when he was playing basketball here in high school. But he's been fantastic and a big reason why the Hornets are 3-0.
Let's go to LaMelo Ball now, because again, his minutes have been low. I don't think he's played over 30 minutes in any game yet. Of course, he drew the headlines opening night, turning up in his Batman villain outfit. But
That's right.
the minutes have been low, but he's still been incredibly efficient, incredibly productive during that time. People might look at the raw numbers or look at the playing time and go, what's happening with LaMelo? Is he hurt? Is he not taking a step forward? But to me, he's taken a gigantic step forward. And you just feel, I don't know what the right word is, you just feel like he's just going to do what needs to be done every game without any sort of inconsistency, which we did see at times last season.
Yeah, I mean, and even in this game, you saw the shooting finally take a step down, 1 of 6 from three-point land, but he went 8 of 18 from the field, where he kind of had struggled inside the three-point arc against the Indiana Pacers to some degree. He was still fantastic in that one. He was awesome going for 30 points. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, you kind of wonder, okay, is he going to continue on the escalator to superstardom? Sometimes, progress isn't linear, right? You have all these dips and these valleys, these mountains, whatever. But LaMelo, from game one, immediately stepping onto the court against Indiana, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's going to take his game to another level immediately this season. And that's what he's done. And James Borrego actually answered that question about the lack of minutes that he played against Indiana. We didn't know that would be a trend, but he played under 30 minutes. He was asked about that and said, yeah, we could have given LaMelo a couple more minutes if we needed to. Just felt right to take him out at that time. But there was no reason for that. It was just or no reason just to try to salvage LaMelo, right? We could have given him more minutes, but we just took him off of the bench. Ish was playing really well. And so that's why they decided to do it. But, I think it's kind of nice too, right? Like if you don't have to rely on LaMelo, the guy that is unquestionably your potential superstar down the line, probably is already one right now, and Ish Smith can come in and really help you out. Cody Martin was a lot better this game. He's really improved this year. It's fantastic to see. You lose Malik Monk and Devontae Graham. Was really worried about the backcourt depth, but to have Ish and Cody Martin playing as well, finishing these games out, even with LaMelo on the bench, and they win against Brooklyn, yeah, it's a phenomenal feeling.
One last thing. The Hornets playing at this level, Terry Rozier is not there. Like he's missed 2 of the 3 games, and he played 24 minutes in the second game with that ankle problem. So it's not like they don't have reinforcements coming back into this team that can strengthen them. Like they're not playing at a healthy level. I think he was their leading scorer last season. He's going to be able to slot back into that lineup. So what's the latest update on Rozier and that ankle?
Yeah, he had this problem in the preseason, and they decided to hold him out the last couple of preseason games. We thought he was actually going to play against Indiana. He was designated as probable, and then during shoot-around, questionable, finally just taken out. Goes back against Cleveland. You saw him play. You mentioned it. Not that impactful at all. If you look at his stat line, actually only goes 1 of 5 from the field. Misses both the 3-pointers that he took, and then he's out for this one. I think James Borrego mentioned it after Indiana that he's close, and I guess he was close enough to play against Cleveland, but right now it just seems like they brought him back maybe a little too soon. Maybe they think he just needs a little more time to rest. And honestly, if you can get away with it, I didn't think you could. But if Ish and Cody are going to play like this, and LaMelo, of course, is going to be able to be a superstar, then yeah, maybe you just be really cautious with them, not try to rush them back, and we'll see if the Hornets can continue their undefeated ways, just how long they can do that.
It's going to be really interesting to watch. Yeah, obviously after this super hot start, pushing towards the playoffs this season. Walker, you'll have it covered for us all over on the Locked On Hornets podcast. Thanks for coming on Locked On NBA with me.
I always enjoy it, man. Thanks for having me.